Well, Jaguar fired a top executive. Okay, so Jaguar walked straight into a disaster, and the truth is obvious from the moment you look at what they pushed out to the public. Now, the man behind the disastrous Jaguar rebrand was fired and escorted out of the building, which shows how deep the frustration inside the company had become. Okay, so the entire direction of the brand had drifted far away from what people expected from Jaguar. The leadership acted as if disconnecting from their established identity would somehow fix declining sales. Anyone who's grounded in reality could see this move would only make things worse. Okay, so as you all remember, the Jaguar commercial that sparked the backlash was a complete disaster. It focused on confusing identity politics, strange styling, and distracting visuals that hid the vehicle itself. Viewers questioned why a car advertisement didn't show the car, and when an ad gives no information about the product, well, people assume there must be a reason. Now, that reaction spread fast, and the entire thing became more of a punchline than a good marketing tool. Okay, so reports stated the fired executive had been with Jaguar for years, but that history didn't shield him from the consequences of the direction that he actually backed. You see, Jaguar had not been competitive in recent years, and the rebrand only intensified the decline. When a brand faces a rough stretch, the smart move is to return to the core identity that built its reputation. Simple as that. When creators return a franchise to what attracted audiences in the first place, support comes back. It's simple. A basic return from revitalized interest in long-running properties that had drifted. Jaguar ignored examples from the entertainment industries and other markets where customers respond when companies respect their expectations. But instead, Jaguar tried to chase approval from people who never were their buyers. Okay? Now, Jaguar attempted to attract a demographic that doesn't even purchase high-priced vehicles. Matter of fact, they don't even purchase anything. You can't replace a loyal customer base with people who do not share the same interests or spending power. A company can expand its audience without sidelining the ones that supported it for decades. You see, traditional models could have continued while experimental electric vehicles were released separately. Now, the automakers do this often without any conflict. Now, the execution of the commercial became the clear sign of how disconnected leadership had become. You see, it hid the car behind abstract imagery of wokeism that told viewers nothing. People questioned why the product was concealed in its own advertisement. And that led, to concerns about design flaws or performance issues that the company did not want revealed. Confusion took over because viewers were not given anything useful to judge. Okay, so basically the entire presentation looked like a parody of modern advertising. It resembled something that was produced to impress an internal committee rather than attract new buyers. Now, the public reaction reflected that disconnect right there immediately. The campaign became an online joke, spreading far faster than anything positive about the rebrand. And now the executive responsible is gone, leaving the company attempting to recover from choices that never aligned with consumer expectations. As a matter of fact, I'm wondering, what took this company so long to fire this guy? I mean, let's be real. Industry outlets confirmed the firing and noted that some sources claimed he had been escorted from the building. Now, details remain unclear, but the symbolism is obvious. Removing someone at that level signals an internal shift toward damage control. Now, the new leadership appears committed to moving away from the failed rebranding approach. And that alone shows how severe the decline had become. All right. So Jerry McGovern served as the chief creative officer, or CCO, and directed the marketing pivot that produced this outcome. His vision reshaped the Jaguar identity in a way that alienated longtime customers, putting them into wokeism. He joined in 2020, and his influence had immediate effects on both the brand's image and the sales trajectory. Now, Jaguar and its reputation weakened as the numbers dropped. The saying about go woke, go broke is, reflected in the measurable decline that this company has experienced. Okay, so McGovern's exit came when PB Balaji replaced Adrian Mardell as CEO of Jaguar. The leadership change took place under circumstances that pointed toward dissatisfaction at the top. Tata Motors, the parent company, is based in India, which is why many details emerged from Indian automotive reporting. Now, the Jaguar brand was also recovering from that cyber attack that we all heard about that halted production. Very few consumers heard about the attack, yet it became a central part of the company's recent struggles. Okay, so Jaguar's new plan is to sell fewer cars at a higher price. That strategy doesn't work when the product no longer commands confidence. So the sales decline shows why this direction can't succeed. Now, the company sold 31,000 cars in 2019, which fell to 21,000 in 2020, then dropped again to 17,000 by 2021, and by 2022 they were down to 9,000. Experimental models during the transition period sold poorly. These numbers do not support the raising prices. Okay, so reports circulated showing a 97.5% drop in European sales. Some regions saw fewer than 50 vehicles sold. Global projections actually estimate only around 3,500 units by 2029. And this is not enough volume to sustain a luxury automaker with large overhead and ambitious electric plans. Now, leadership spoke as if demand existed for six-figure electric models from a brand losing visibility. The optimism didn't match that particular identity. Okay, so basically McGovern just pushed Jaguar toward fully electric designs intended to compete with high-end brands. The new vehicles from Jaguar did not resemble the Jaguars in appearance or spirit. Now, potential customers did not see enough value compared to established competitors. The price points suggested expectations of prestige, but the designs did not provide that appeal that justified the shift. Now, the result actually was a product line that lacked connection to the traditional buyers. Meanwhile, the cyber attack created more complications. Production shut down for nearly a month. The UK government underwrote a $2 billion loan to help the company stabilize and support its suppliers. That raised questions because the sales projections do not justify such a loan. Now, the timing of the attack caused observers to go ahead and just question it, also served as a convenient pause while leadership scrambled to adjust their strategy. Now, the shutdown lasted through September and into October, and that was bad for Jaguar, by the way. But the company announced that production would resume in a controlled manner. The government assistance, suggested financial pressure behind the scenes. Now, if Jaguar is projecting low sales volume, taking on massive debt becomes a serious risk. Now, the situation does not add up for a company that plans to sell only a few thousand cars annually. You see, many saw the disconnect between projected output and financial decisions. So Jaguar just had a loyal customer base, okay? Instead of reinforcing that connection, leadership pushed a direction aligned with niche online trends that did not translate to real-world purchases. Now, the public rejected the shift by Jaguar because it removed the characteristics that made the brand appealing. Okay. So definitely the Jaguar fallout illustrates how fragile a legacy brand becomes when it abandons what made it successful. Jaguar is now attempting to recover while dealing with leadership turnover, production delays, as well as a failed rebrand and financial strain. You see, none of this was unavoidable. You see, a stable and predictable direction would have allowed the Jaguar brand to adjust gradually instead of just collapsing under its own decisions. Okay, but yeah, let me know what you're thinking about the Jaguar firing their executive behind their woke rebrand by escorting him out the building. And let me know in the comments what you're thinking about this whole Jaguar situation. And until then, I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, peace.